He's not in this picture. He is not in this one.
You know, I don't know if he's in this one. This kid, I can't remember his name. I know him, but I can't remember his name.
No idea. Well, we might as well, let's work on that picture then.
I think this was an older picture than that one, I think.
You think so?
I think. I mean, there's that Thomas guy from Westfield.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You know?
Well, he was still racing at 65.
Oh, well, yeah, that could be.
Well, let's see. How do you...
And I don't think you had Emery in your picture either.
No,
He's not in that picture.
Emery's not in this
I
picture.
thought I just seen him here, though.
Yeah,
right
he's
here,
right.
I think.
Or is it that?
Oh, that's
right
There he is, right here in the
yeah.
middle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it almost looks like it's the same damn night. Look what Floyd's wearing. Floyd's got the same damn clothes on.
Well, maybe
Anybody
that's
else
how-
wearing the same clothes? What did
What
Sam
have I
have
got
on?
on?
No, you're different.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not the same night. Okay.
Well, there are a couple guys in this one that aren't in the other one. So.
Yeah, I think that's Johnny Boyd back there, I think.
Do ya?
I think so. You think?
That could be. Oh my God. That's Art Anderson, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There got to be an old picture, because Art, cripe, he passed away when?
Boy, this is a good picture, but that's a tough one.
This kid here was from Russell. What the heck was his name?
From Russell. Keith Lundmark?
Yeah.
That's who that is?
I think it is.
Oh.
I think it is. Oh, I just don't recognize that guy either.
Well, Squirt, John, somebody, Floyd. That's
row
Freddie
except
Knapp, right?
him.
Is that Freddie?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, somebody's hiding in the back. Don't know.
And then that's Litz with his head turned next to Dill again.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Wasn't this that guy from Bradford that was a
Oh.
school teacher or the driving teacher or whatever? the
Ray
hell-
Jordan?
Jordan.
That's who that is?
I think it is.
Okay. And,
I'm pretty sure that might be Keith Lundmark.
okay, I can't.
That's Dill.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And
Emery, Seeley.
Seeley.
Somebody's hiding, we don't
Yeah.
know. Art,
and
Wilson,
I think it's
Boyd.
Boyd. Oh, boy, that
That's
guy's
hard,
got his head
yeah.
turned too far. That's Kenny Shear.
Shear.
I don't know.
Don't
who that
know.
is
Floyd
either.
Thomas, Piazza, Schnars, Marty, Ditch, Hellman, Scott, Sam, Turner, Parmenter, Jim,
And Miller.
Miller again,
I
and
don't remember
Oh,
that
that
guy.
guy.
Jerry
No.
Curtis. Jerry Curtis. Could any of these guys
Kyle
be
Van
Jerry?
Arsdale. Hey, remember he had a checker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you do
I wonder
that,
if he's
Sam?
in this picture that we don't recognize. Let's see, what the hell did he look like?
There was some. We had some pictures.
I've got some
There's
at
some
home.
pictures of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
I
good
remember what
thought.
he looks like, but I don't think I see him.
Oh, okay.
Did Bob forget? I don't remember any of those names. Eddie Faulkner. Now he might be one of them guys we don't.
He was a young man at
Eddie?
that time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
How'd you make out with Floyd?
Not good.
He went to he was at the doctor.
There was a note on the door
Oh.
that says, "Sorry, I had to go to the doctor. Forgot."
Oh, you supposed to meet him?
Yeah. So we'll catch up. Polaro?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? What happened?
He got burned. I think it's at Dunkirk Fairgrounds or something. I can't remember what the hell he did.
Well, that's a.
Did he mention it? You been to see him yet?
No, Thursday. One time I did hear about him getting burned at the
I
fairgrounds.
think that's when it was at Dunkirk.
He talked. What? He's got a good 2 different years, huh? Same car?
Let's see. That got the exhaust. Yeah, this is the exhaust out the side. That's that '62 I built new at that time. This one, got turned into junk one night.
Is that the one where, let's see, Squirt was telling us about?
There was
He was involved
Yeah,
in
There
that.
was a fireman or him.
Yeah, and you, yeah.
Yeah, there was
He
another
told
one.
us about
That
that
was
one.
about 67.
This is the back of it, back end of it.
Boy, you
That was an Erie. That was an
ruined
Erie.
that car.
Oh, it was. I had to junk it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And that was a, let's see, that was the, what, a 65 or 66 Ford there. That was in the Jamestown Sun, them two things there.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but
Yeah.
71.
What, with Joe Sonner?
Oh,
That or even the insert, you know, that they ran there.
Oh. I know these were in the Sun.
Photos by Gordon Mann.
That might be an Erie paper, is it, or is that a?
It says
Post Journal,
Yeah,
1971.
that's why I said I didn't
Okay.
remember that.
Mm-hmm. But, okay, this one here is the Erie Times, this one. You know, I don't know, you guys probably don't remember Mr. Forsythe, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
He come down
He-
and watched us one Sunday at Jamestown. He didn't think too much of us, though. I cut that head out.
At the Jamestown Speedway?
Yeah.
Do you remember
Frank?
a guy named Doug Smith? Doug Smith, announcer, did some.
He was asking me about him, the one that moved to Buffalo or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a kid that went the other way, went towards Ohio, but he went with Champion Spark Plug or something.
Bender, Denny Bender.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here, give you that back, Randy, so we
I
don't
want
get
to
them, give all them to you before you go.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what you got.
Well, I can
From high school, coming back and forth, and thinking how much fun it was to drive by or to walk by Arnold here. And you would have your car, or I didn't say, gee, I know there's a race car driver, Sam LaMancuso. Of course, I went to school with Johnny Red, Johnny Black, Jenny,
Oh.
Joanne. So there was this
Oh, really?
access to a celebrity. You know, they
Oh,
were a
my goodness.
LaMancuso who knew Sammy LaMancuso.
Sure. They all remember the race car, too. I used to give them rides in it up and down the street.
Well, that was part of it, but they never shared with us, that's for sure.
Oh. If you'd have came to the right time, I'd have given you a ride.
Was racing in the blood of the LaMancusos, or?
No. You know how I got into this? Tony Caprino. Any of you guys know
Yeah,
Tony,
yeah.
the mayor of Lakewood? He one day told me, he says, I want to go down to Leon. Bud Finelli's going to race a car down there. So down there we go. And after that, then we get the bug.
Ah,
Then we started, Tony and I. And we started out with a 35 Cadillac. And that's how I got into this racing business. Then he was smart enough to quit, and I kept going.
no, Leon, and then were there other tracks that you were kind of playing around with early on?
Penny Royal, Jamestown Speedway, we used to go to the Skyline. We went to Dickey Bend. We even raced at a track that probably nobody's even heard of in Spartansburg, Pennsylvania. And I don't think to this day anybody knows that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but there was a big hotel I can remember in the middle of town, and across the street there was a big open lot, and we raced that 35 Cadillac down there.
No kidding.
So you, Randy, will have to do some research on that and see. Check that out, will you, Randy?
Well, he will. You know, trust me, he will. And so, at some point, you find yourself, you're racing at Skyline. How did you even know there was a state line being constructed? Was that a talk among the drivers?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Oh, yeah, we all knew that. Because we raced the Skyline, and they were part of State Line Boys anyway.
Right.
Then they broke up with the Coons, I think his name was, or something. And then they went out on their own.
Was there a reason for the breakup?
There was, but I don't remember what it was, but I think it was money, like usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did they entice you guys to come from Skyline to State Line?
It wasn't too hard, because they put up a pretty nice facility there. And they were a good bunch of guys, and they all worked hard. And they put up, like I say, a nice track, and that's where everybody went.
Let's talk about some of those guys. Leonard Briggs, what's he mean to you?
Leonard was a real fine guy, nice man, really, and smart. very smart.
What was his job there?
Most of his work was with electrical. He used to put up all the lights and that stuff. But they all roamed around there, you know, and take care of things.
Jerry Frank?
Jerry, the track man, him and his brother, took care of the track.
Lloyd Williams?
Announcer, a good one.
Yeah.
He really kept everybody amused. He was very good.
Some point when you see the documentary, when we roll it all out at the Jackson Center, what's the date in September? He'll have it ready. See, we're already working to September of 2010. He's the guy that's going to pull it all together.
Is that right?
That's right, that's right. But one of the things we came across was this incredible radio program, a radio piece of Lloyd Williams announcing a feature race in 1959.
That's what I heard Randy told me. We had a Snars had this recording or
Yep.
something in my hearing?
Unbelievable. It was a
I
record.
can't imagine where it come from.
Well, I don't either, but he, obviously Schnars won. That's why he kept it.
Oh, Snars won most of them. He must have a lot of records.
Good answer. Well, we got that, and things are circulating just like this incredible table of feast of pictures. We also came across the movie that we talked about, just came in today, and there's a brief glimpse of you in 1959 as well.
Oh,
Back to State Line opened in 1956.
56.
And you were part of a unique thing called a team race.
That's how I wound up there.
Yeah.
Because I was racing it down to Jamestown Speedway.
Mhm.
So one day, Harold Anderson or Harold Johnson stopped by the garage, one of the twin auto gang there, and they were running cars for Joe Sauner. So Harold stopped down and asked me if I would team up with Joe in this team race at State Line. And I says, I'd love to, because I had a pretty nice car at the time. It was a 51 Plymouth, I believe. And it ran really good, and he asked me to run with him. And I had to wind up winning that race, because his car broke.
How did it work? How'd the team work? Did you each had separate cars?
We had separate cars. I had the old car, he had the new car.
Right.
He had like a 55 or 56 Ford, and I had this 50 or 51 Plymouth. And both cars could not be on the track at the same time. Only one of you could be out there at a time and to complete this 200 laps. And they said when they went through the tapes after, or the recording, however they did that, you know, how they tracked that thing, that we were the only ones that never were both out there at the same time.
So they disqualified everybody?
I don't know what they... So anyway, Joe's going like a bat out of heck, and he's winning. He won quite a few races there too, Joe did.
Right.
Breaks a spindle. So all at once they're hollering, get out there with your car, you know. I had to finish most of that race with that old car, and we won it.
Was it would they have to go into the pits and then you came out from the pits?
Right.
Okay, so you have to
Yeah.
literally get off the track
You have to get off the track.
and then you come out.
He had to be on his way in, and you were on your way out.
How did
You
how
sat
did
you sat in
signal?
the car.
Oh, you sat in the car.
Oh, yeah. You sat in the car, and you had crew members watching for who was coming in and who was going out, you know.
Did you get signals?
Yeah.
Come on in and...
Yeah, we had more than one guy. We'd have one guy by the gate and one guy standing with me, and they'd relay it, and off I'd go.
Did it happen a lot? Team races?
No, I was the only one ever.
Really?
Yeah,
So you won, you and Joe won, and you retired the trophy forever, so
that was it.
there's only one.
That's the only one they ever did. Probably was too much work for them, probably.
Well, you think about 200 laps. That's a long race.
Yeah, it is for a bunch of old junky cars, you know, but we had then. Make our own wheels and did everything ourselves, mostly.
It says here in this program I'm reading that that was your introduction to State Line was 1956. Obviously, when did you race it all that year? Did you race at 56?
Yeah.
In State Line? You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think then right after that, I got hooked on this new car stuff, so I got a new car right off the bat. I got that 57 Studebaker.
Ah. Following year, yeah, Sam moved up to late model class, 1957 Studebaker. Again, Sam won a feature. And again, the track was unhappy. Why was that? It's,
I don't know what that was about.
this time it was because of the crowd. It was on a Sunday afternoon, the only time State Line had tried a rain date race, and the
Okay.
turnout was less than 300. Sam got his full share of the $750 purse, and there was a lot of red ink on the books that night. State Line hasn't run an off-day rain date since.
You know, I was going to bring that up at this because I didn't think anybody knew there was ever a Sunday race at State Line.
Yeah.
That was the only one there was, and I did win that.
So you're kind of a one. If they do something strange, you win.
I'm in.
This is what I'm learning here. Are you writing all this down?
Strange cars, that's me.
That's the team race?
No, this
That's
is
the Hawk.
This is a Studebaker Hawk that he won that race that you
Right.
just talked about, the Sunday afternoon race.
And you know what else is ironic about that race? Lee Petty was there prior to this race when them guys were up here. Okay, what year were they here? 55 or 56?
58, I thought, Sam. 58.
Well, they may have been a few times. They may have been there a few times.
They were. I know he was there because he got me them tires, or Kannapolis tires, on the back of that car. I think that's what won the race for me.
Really?
Yeah, because he said, I'm going to send you, you know, I'll tell you, you got to pay for them, of course, but he said, I'll have them shipped up to you from Kannapolis tire, and that's what I had on there that day. Wide ones, 8 inches. Big deal. There's passenger cars with tires wider than that today.
Well, during those early days, obviously there were some people whose names just keep coming up over and over again. I'd like some vignettes or a funny story or whatever your reflection might be, and like Dean Layfield. What's Dean Layfield mean to Sammy LaMancuso?
Dean is the one that brought late models to State Line.
Really?
Right. He's the one that started that business. I think he'd run Daytona for a couple of years or something, and he come back with. But the Chevy was a '58, so it must have been prior to that somehow. He brought these late. He's the one that started that late model stuff there. But a nice guy, and he had a couple of brothers too that raced. Billy, and was there one Bill and Herb? Yeah.
Squirt
But they were
Giants.
nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Squirt, great guy, smart guy, won a lot of races.
Was there a technique that he had that made him a little bit different than the rest? Because he did seem to win a lot of races.
You know, he was into springs and rubber, compounds and that stuff way before a lot of us. Because he always talked about that stuff. This tire's too soft, this one's too hard, this spring is too weak. He was pretty sharp.
Bobby Schnars.
Bobby, everybody used to tease me that I used to get beat by the farmer kid out of Bust-Eye. Yeah. He had a friend that used to come to the garage all the time. He's always teasing me. You let that little farm boy beat you again, huh? Bobby was terrific. He had some good help around him. They had good cars. You know, Frosty was there, and Whitey, I think, was there at the time. They built some good stuff, and he knew how to drive it. And I think he was ahead of us a little bit on clutches and stuff. I've never been able to prove that. I'm going to ask Bobby someday. But I had heard he had the first clutch that what they call them?
Triple disc.
Triple disc. I think he was the first one to come out with that nobody knew about. And I think it was Chuck Biaz that used to pump that information up to him, because Chuck was down south working for the race boys down there.
Right.
And so, but he was good, but he's also very good.
Hyle Russell.
Hyle, one of Frank Roman's boys, they had good cars Frank built for them. Good guy. They won a few races too.
With Eddie Kisco.
With Eddie Kisco. They were both there at the same time.
Was there anything unique about Ruhlman's cars?
Yes. He chopped everything out of them. There was nothing left of the car. He'd take the whole back end out and put a shelf in the back of it. You know, he'd lighten them up, in other words.
Yeah.
Very light cars, and very smart man. I remember going up to his shop a few times and seeing some of the stuff he was doing. It was pretty clever.
Which begs the question, did you guys talk a lot among yourselves as far as techniques or something new? Was there a lot of...
You know, you talk a lot, but there's a lot of lying going on. You know? But we talked. But you know, you don't tell everybody everything. I mean, they don't even do today. They don't do that. They say all these teams work together. They don't.
Yeah. Well, that's cute. So what? Just the 27L. How would the 27L come about?
How'd that happen? Okay, 27 came from Chuck Nalbone. That was one of his favorite numbers. And we used to work together in the garage. The L happened, we went to Skyline. I think it was Skyline when them guys from Ohio were coming. Like Johnny McGinley and Bailey and all them guys. And I think one of them was 27. So they told me I had to do something to change my number, so I put the L on with a masking tape. And that's been there ever since.
Because that clearly identifies you with that number. And the
Oh,
number was you.
I have people when I'm going down the street, they holler, "Hey, 27L." You know, that's.
Ronnie Blackmer was part of Rumen's, but he was
He was a son-in-law.
Yeah.
But he ran the Sportsman there for a while before he got to the late models. Yeah, boy, they won a ton of races with that thing too.
We've asked the question of most everybody that if you got into the last lap of a feature and 27L just had one other car that you least wanted to go up against, that one-on-one, the driver that you just said, oh God, I really don't want him to be he and I going around that last lap. Who would it be?
M1.
M1?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's tough.
Tough.
Yeah.
Were you? Was there anybody out there also that sort of was more aggressive than others? The guy who really would kind of bump you around no matter what?
Tom Dill took me out of a few races. I tell you. You knew I was going to say that, huh?
Yeah. It's now unanimous.
Did he tell you?
No,
No, he didn't. It's in one of the papers, a program where he put me out and everybody was mad at him.
Well, I can.
But he's a barrel of fun out there. He's a great guy.
We'll tell you this. The story is literally everybody. We asked the same question: who's the guy that would move you around if you had to? Whatever. It's all unanimous. Tom Dill.
Yeah.
And we asked Tom Dill Saturday. We interviewed him about the same question for him, and he said, "Nobody."
Yeah, because he was pushing everybody else. Yeah. And he laughed after, too. You know, he always got that big laugh. Everything was a big laugh for him.
Yeah.
You couldn't help but like the guy.
Well, was there things like that? I mean, Tom pushing you around. I mean, or other people. When you got into the pits, was there a sense of emotion coming out? Did you see much?
There was some guys like that. I wasn't one of them. Tom wasn't one of them. I could name a couple, but I won't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've heard a couple names. We won't.
Yeah.
We all do.
One of the guys that we didn't interview today.
Yeah, that's number one.
Yeah, we can't wait, frankly.
He was one of them dogs with the big loud bark, you know, but that's all right.
I can't wait for you to do the whole video because Johnny Whitehead had a story about that whole Floyd and
I remember Johnny Whitehead
Yeah.
talking to him one night, too. Did Johnny tell you about that?
No.
Oh,
No.
Might as well fill it in.
No, I mean, he was talking to this gentleman I think you're going to be interviewing. They had, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yes, he did say about. Yes, he did talk about that. I was wondering.
And they're both good guys, and all that stuff goes away after anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Was there after a race? You know, the card is over. They've doled out the money. Did you guys was there camaraderie? Did you go to the local gin joint for a beer or not?
We did that, but a lot of the guys, we'd have parties right in the pits after.
Ah.
You know, corn roast, hot dog roast, beer, of course.
Right.
And Dickie Litz and Jim Polaro and them, they were great for that. They put on some good parties. They used to try to outdo each other, so the parties used to get better and better all the time. I remember one night at Wattsburg, we had to stay there overnight because everybody got bombed out of their minds after eating and drinking all night long down there. Because Litz and Polaro were going against each other with these parties. But it was fun. We had a lot of fun. I don't know if they do that anymore up there today. I'm not sure. I don't think.
We probably got to get back to the garage for the next night out or something.
I don't know.
Well, they got so much
Talk
money
about that.
invested today, too. That's another.
That's the problem.
That's the
It's
problem.
a business now.
Yeah,
It's not,
right.
It's not. You aren't up there for the fun. It's.
I mean, I could build a brand new car there, like, you know, $5,000-6,000 then. They spend that much on tires and wheels, probably, you know. But
Again, but now back to the earlier days. When you went to State Line that first year or so, was there anything distinctive about the track, the physical track itself, as opposed to Skyline and some of the other things that you raced?
physically,
Yeah. Was there anything unique about that third mile, right?
3/8.
3/8.
It's 3/8, isn't it? Yeah. God, I don't know. They had a lot of cement along there, I know that. But they did a nice job. They put bleachers, all there was only bleachers on the front stretch at one time.
Right.
Then they put them on the back. Uniqueness, well, the pits were nice. No, that worked out good. Concessions were better, nicer concessions. And they had a concession stand in the pits for us guys.
Kenny Johnson.
Great friend of mine, just passed away a couple years ago. We'd been going to Daytona for, I don't know, we started going there when I got out of the Army, 53 or 54. 54, I think, when I went down the first time with him to watch, they used to race on the beach. But we went right up until the time he passed away here.
Okay.
I used to meet him every year at Daytona. He lived there for a while, then he moved to Vegas, but he'd fly in from Vegas to Daytona and meet me, and we spent a week together. And Kenny's son, Junior, he's still there, and we were stay with him. I really, really miss him. And I didn't go to Daytona after that. I went once since he passed away.
He drove at Daytona, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Was that, we think today if you were going from state line and the next thing you know you're driving in Daytona 500, you would be shocked. But how did that work in those days?
Well, we knew how to build the thing. We thought we did anyway until we got around down there with them rednecks.
So you were part of Kenny's crew?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I helped him build the car and everything. Oh, yeah. I drove on Daytona myself.
Did you really?
And the cars, we made them too heavy, number one, way too heavy. And number two, they had engines that would make us look nuts. And a lot of guys went down there in '59, especially when they first opened that track.
Right.
It looked like, at the end of the day, like a junkyard. People were bringing all these old things, like I was telling about 48 Chevys and 50 Plymouths and all that. The things were just falling apart.
Right.
And but like you say, it was unique in a way because guys didn't bring the right stuff. They didn't know what to expect, number one.
Right.
The G-forces and all that.
How did it happen that you raced, that you drove? You didn't say you raced, you said you drove.
I could have raced, but I didn't.
How did that, tell us about
Well,
that.
I got my license when I went down there. You know, I went and got my physical from my license. And I used to take the car out and try it, you know. And Kenny was going to drive it in the race, but I would go out and run it around.
Really?
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
You know, it's a feeling you don't even feel it. You can plant your foot on the floor and just steer the thing. I mean, you hardly know you're going that fast. When I realized how fast I was going, and when I went to get off the track, and I hit that flat spot in the bottom, I almost upset the car. But they lost a lot of cars down there too. You know, they didn't know what to expect either. I remember Lee Petty flying out of the place. We were there that year too. We were there 59, 60, and 61. And there was a lot of damage done down there.
Do you remember the car number Kenny had?
56, I believe.
56?
Yeah.
Just an aside, Tom Dill Jr. knows the NASCAR archivist who can actually pick out stuff on any driver that was ever there in Daytona. So if we actually wanted to find some film footage of Kenny, well, it was 59, 60, 61, they could probably do that.
I could tell you probably where to get that too. Both of us belong to the living legends of auto racing in Daytona.
Okay,
And they have a lot of that stuff.
perfect. Because that'd be kind of fun thing for the...
Matter of fact, I think Kenny donated some of his stuff to that museum down there.
Who else raced at Daytona beside Kenny and
Freddie Knapp,
Dill.
Tom Dill, Scott,
Scott,
Jimmy Scott,
Duell?
Bob Duell, that, what's that other kid's name who stayed down there? I read his name here the other day. Tyler,
Carl Tyler.
Carl Tyler. And let's see. That's about all I can remember. Yeah,
John Seeley.
nice. Now, he's still alive, anybody know?
We think he is.
Now, somebody told me one day, because he always came to see me every summer, at the garage, and I haven't seen him lately. And somebody said he passed away, and I don't believe that. I'd like to know. Nice guy.
Daytona? Doesn't he live in Daytona, Sam?
No, he lives down in the Carolinas,
Oh, he does?
either North or South Carolina.
Oh.
Emery Man.
What a gentleman. They're one of a kind.
Yeah.
Nice. Never had a bad word for anybody. Really great guy.
As you look at some of these pictures here, and maybe, Randy, you could show them some of the cars, because it seems to me you started off with a Studebaker, right?
The first new one, yeah,
57,
57, yeah.
Studebaker.
Mhm.
And then you got out of the Studebakers in 1960.
No, I didn't. I had a 59 right there.
This one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot what they called it. What the heck they called that thing?
Uh,
A Lark.
Lark.
59 Lark.
Right, there we go.
Yeah.
Golden Hawk,
And
then
that's
a Lark.
Then a Lark.
Now, is that why did you choose those?
Well, we were selling Packard at Cusimano Brothers,
Okay.
so I tried to stick with the products, you know.
How did the economics work? Did you have to buy the car, or did they provide the car? to you?
They would, you know, they would buy me a car. But we did all the work ourselves. You did a lot of junkyard stuff, you know. Not like they do now. You go to buy everything off the shelf and bolt it together,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
We built everything.
And at the end of a race, you tow it back. Was there a lot of work that had to be done every?
Yeah, there could be. Yeah, there could be. Yeah, there was a lot of times there was a lot of work to do. Yeah, especially on them two cars. Them kept me busy.
Then you decided to get out of the Studebakers and get into.
I went back into the Fords then. Yeah.
You were working for Cusimano Brothers at the time. You weren't doing
Right.
Fords there, were?
We had Edsel.
Okay.
So that was a Ford product, right?
Okay, there you go. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Edsel for 58, 59, and 60s when they took it away, then it folded anyway.
Right,
So.
right. So that was your introduction to the Fords.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a 62 Ford after that, right?
Yep.
Ford, 62.
No, I had a 59 Ford in first.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this one here. That's the 59.
Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That was the best car, one of my best cars right there.
Is that right?
Why was it, Sam?
I wish I knew. You know, you could build two cars and they're not both the same. That thing there just done everything you wanted it to do. And I don't know why it was. I could never duplicate it. Never. But that was one of my best ones.
It says here your 62 Ford, it was the car's first race, and you started well towards the back of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
You had almost all the way winning the 25-lap Grand Opening.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good beginning for a hardy car, which Sam didn't dispose of until late last season. So you had it for some time, didn't you?
The 62?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I sold it after, though, to somebody. I don't remember who. Went to Pennsylvania somewhere.
Is that right?
Yeah. That had a lot of Homeland Moody parts in it, too. It was a good car.
As you're looking at these pictures and bringing back memories, and if Greg Peterson would ask Sammy LaMancuso, one of the funniest things that I ever saw at the racetrack, or one of the most amazing things that I saw at the racetrack, may or may not have involved you, but what would Sammy LaMancuso say?
Let me think. Something funny, huh? Oh, boy. I think the funniest thing that I ever seen up there, and it had nothing to do with my race, and they were having one of them demo derbies, and Chub Franks was in it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming out of the pits, full bore, and he's looking to see if any cars are coming around out of the turn, and there was a car stopped in front of him. That was about the funniest thing I remember up there.
And so did he stop, right?
Boy, did he.
You get into I see you some accident pictures here where you flipped over on your top.
I had a lot of rollovers. With the older cars, though, with that old Ford there.
Did you get a point, Sam, where these things type happen where the end of the race is over and you've just had a bad accident, where you said, geez, I don't know, this is kind of crazy for me to expose myself. Like, we ever kind of...
You know, I don't think we were that smart. No, you'd get out, get right back in again. I don't know.
Like falling off a horse.
Yeah, that Ford there, when we tumbled it up the state line that night, they took in the pits and straightened it up, and I went back out there again.
Do you remember the night that Eddie Kisco flipped over?
Barely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when somebody went by, cut the top off the car or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there kind of similar type accidents where you'd said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this guy walked away without some real injury"?
I see Litz come through, right through the fence one day at State Line in the pit fence. Jumped that wall somehow and come up over the top of that fence.
Wow. Wow.
And he landed in the pits. But it didn't hurt him. Didn't hurt him any.
Yeah. Fortunately, not anybody else.
And nobody else got hurt, right. I've seen wheels flying around. And I've seen one guy get hit with a wheel, but they used to happen a lot, wheels flying around.
Yeah.
Yep.
You had lots of success. Was there kind of one or two races where you step back and you say, "Oh, I really enjoyed that one"? You close your...
You know, when you ask me, I don't feel I had a lot of success. I feel I should have had more. When you look with these other guns like Bobby and Blackmer, them guys, well, they won a lot of races. But I worked a lot with different kind of stuff, you know, the Studebakers and whatever, you know. And then I was telling Randy that one day, then put me back a little bit.
Yeah. Just because you were experimenting with...
Yeah, and you couldn't get parts for them like you could the Chevys and the Fords and the Dodges, you know. You had to make everything, and there was better stuff out there if you could buy it. So.
Was there a reason why you were doing the different type of car? Was that because of your relationship with the Manos brothers?
Right, yeah. You know, I worked for them for 40-some years, probably, you know.
Well, you're legendary.
Yeah.
Did they enjoy the fact that you were doing this? Did they see the advertising potential and all that?
Oh, sure. And the one brother was, Pete, was a very, very smart guy. He was way ahead of his time. And he used to help me a lot with that.
Yeah.
He built all the old Fords and stuff. He was very good.
When the day was done, well, let's talk a little bit about the earlier days. What was a purse? What were the economics of a nightly race? Saturday night you went in. Did you pay a fee going in for the race?
You're right, yeah. That was usually $5 or $6. But I don't know if they can make $100 or $125 maybe sometime. At the most I can remember in the early days now.
Right,
But I've seen some that were $75 at Jamestown, at Jamestown Speedway.
Was there guaranteed purses? Obviously there's one
Not that
store-
I can remember.
Yeah.
Not in the olden days.
Right.
Maybe later on there was, but I don't remember a lot of that guaranteed stuff.
So when the day was done, you weren't sure if you won how much money you would get.
Right. Yeah, well, it depends where you finish, number one.
Yeah.
You know.
Who was the disperser? Was Leonard Briggs the guy out parceling out the money?
No, they usually had some girl. They had women in there, usually their wives. But one of them was there telling them what to give. Now, in later years, they didn't pay you after the race anymore. They would give you the next race you came to. They'd have an envelope ready for you for the last race you were at. Because it was too much monkeying around. Because by the time they got all the money figured out, how much they were going to give out, everybody's standing there waiting to get paid. As a matter of fact, it caused trouble quite a few times, too.
Just among the drivers?
Yeah, well, amongst the drivers and the track owners, because they wanted to get their money and get out of there.
Right. What's the like? I mean, Sam, you raced for how many years at State Line? What was your longevity from 50?
I quit, I think, I'm trying to think 73. And I don't remember why I quit. I was mad about something, and I'm not even sure why anymore. I probably do, but I'm not going to talk about it. and after I wished that I let that get the best of me, and I shouldn't have.
Right.
I shouldn't have quit. I bet you I could still race right now. It's the way I feel, anyway. But.
Well, you look, my God, you look like you're going hard. I saw in one of the programs something called an old timers race. This would have been 1983. And it said 9 former racing greats at State Line were starters in a special 10-lap old-timers race.
Mm-hmm.
A caution was called as Sammy LaMancuso spun as he entered the first turn for the first time.
They didn't tell you it was a bumper lane in the middle of the track and I run over.
Really? Right, so they put that out there. That was your obstacle?
No, some knocked it off somebody's car. I don't know.
Do you remember much about that race at all, other than
Not a
that?
whole lot. I think Emery won it, did he?
Let's read the whole thing here. By the time Black was awarded. Yes, Schnars won. Emery finished second.
Oh, he was second. Snars. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what a surprise.
What a surprise that is. Yeah.
Don Bailey.
Of course, he wasn't old. Bobby wasn't an old timer by then either. He's still been racing for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know when he quit. I can't remember.
78, 9,
Yeah.
80.
Yeah. So he was. There was Don Bailey, Sammy LaMancuso, Freddie Knapp, John Seeley, Emery Mann, Kenny C., Joe Sauner, Jim Scott, and Bobby Schnars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't remember whose car I had either.
But they would just give you cards.
Yeah.
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 Did-
It might have been Brad Clark's. I can't
Really?
remember.
I see Bobby was in Chubb's car.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, give him the best car, too. Make it really easy for him.
Is that what they did?
That's, I could tell by the picture, that's Chubb's car.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
And you probably drove Brad's car.
I think
Brad
so.
was working for you at
Yeah.
the time, wasn't he?
No.
No?
No. Well, maybe he was. He might have been.
He worked with
Yeah.
you for a while.
Yeah. See, when did we go down to Washington
Washington
Street?
Street.
83. I don't know if he was with me yet or not.
Whatever.
I can't remember.
Did your wife go to the races?
When the kids were little, she used to bring them every Saturday night.
What did the kids think?
They loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were small.
Yeah.
But they followed it for as many years as I ran,
Right.
and they're now in their 40s, you know. So
Have they sat down and spent any time talking to you about why, kind of like what we're doing here? How you got into the racing and all that stuff? Are they?
yeah, we've talked about it. Matter of fact, one of them's they want to put that together. That other thing that they used to hang that in my office at work.
Yeah.
He put that together for me. And that old Cadillac I was telling you about, that's the only picture I got of it down in that bottom corner. I don't know if Tony Caprino's got any other pictures of that or not. I'm going to have to ask him one of these days.
Did you ever race in the Sportsman? Did you ever do anything other than just
Yeah,
late
that's
model?
what them things were. That little coupe had, they called that a Sportsman.
So that's what that is right there? The middle?
No. I had a Plymouth, too. I had a Plymouth with a Hemi in it. That picture in there, I don't know.
Was that just for a period of time? Did you do a lot of that? Or was that
Most of it was like that before they went to the late model. They used to either call them hooligans or jalopies, and they had all kinds of names for them.
Modified.
Yeah, you didn't know what they were going to call them. But
was that at State Line? Did you drive Sportsmans?
out at Jamestown Speedway,
Yes.
and at State Line they didn't have a whole lot of that sportsman stuff when I ran anyway. And all I had was that old car, and they used to bring them up there, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year and put 100 of them out there. I don't remember how many there was, but there was a lot of them.
And you would race them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was that-
They used to put them 3 abreast in there.
Jeez. How could you move?
It wasn't easy. That's how I wound up in that predicament. Because I was going between two cars,
Right.
and they come together. They closed the hole on me, and I went up over their wheels and flipped. I rode right up over their tires because they were open wheel cars, you know.
We talked about guys like John Seeley and Kenny Johnson and Sammy LaMancuso. What about Chuck Piazza?
Chuck, nice guy. I still see him every now and then. I haven't seen him for a few years now. Another brilliant guy. He used to come down to Champion Garage when we were down on Harrison Street over there. He used to go into night school at the high school he was working at Marlin Rockwell, getting some kind of a degree or something. And he used to stop there every night after school and watch us. Then he decided he wanted to start to get into a race car, and he did it well. Then when he left here, he went to work for Hutchison Pagan down in the Carolinas, which is a guy that built racing parts and all that kind of stuff. And he did that for a long time. And then he worked with, well, the guy that was with Hendrick for that old Harry Hyde. He worked for Harry Hyde for a long time. And they used to do the Dodge stuff. They were making that kit car, you know, remember that kit car they had? Yeah, and they were working on that.
Give that your baseball card things. Yeah, we have a whole. This guy's got everything. He knows.
I don't.
I don't have anything after I've
Well,
seen
no,
it.
no, no, no. But he has this.
I'm embarrassed to show him my stuff now.
No, we show it to him, and I'd be curious. This is a wallet.
You probably remember these, Sam.
Oh yeah.
Could you talk about some of the guys there as you're looking at those? Kind of take them maybe one at a time. And
Let's see, who's over here? Floyd Finale. Great friend. Hot temper. Even if you were his friend, he'd get mad at you for a while. Just for a while. Who's this? Ronnie Blackmer. Nice kid. I still see him a lot.
Yeah.
We have a wine together now and then. Floyd Thomas. I remember him well. We raced together quite a bit at Jamestown Speedway and other places, but I think he's passed away now, hasn't he? Yes. Yeah. I mean, he was a Rambler dealer or something, or he worked for a Rambler dealer in Westfield. I think that's why he was running. Wasn't he running a Rambler of some kind?
I thought he had a gas station in Westfield, but
That-
you know more about it
Well,
than
he
I do,
might have,
Sam.
either that, I think the Rambler guy sponsored him.
Okay.
Johnny Whitehead, the old flying farmer. Another guy that, he was, he wouldn't take no crap from anybody either.
I got that sense.
Did you get that feeling from him?
Yeah.
Johnny Ditch, he never gave anybody any trouble. Nice guy. Always had nice looking cars. Squirt, well, I don't know how to tell you about this guy. Nice man. His wife was a nice lady. He built some good Dodges, better than the ones I had. And he was good driver and a smart guy. Chuck Piazza. He could have gone further, I think, than he did. I don't know why he didn't want. I don't know why he didn't drive when he got down there. I can't remember. He might have. He did drive some because I used to go watch him down the Gray Stadium. But then after he gave it up, and but he still monkeyed around with them cars they run at the on the airports and stuff. That was up until a few years ago. He was doing that. He had a Porsche or something he was running around with. And Freddie Knapp. Nice guy too. I used to meet him down Daytona every year too. He belonged to that Living Legends for a while too. Good guy. He was around. He lived in the neighborhood here for a long time, up the street.
Flip them over.
Was there some more in there?
There's some more on the other side.
Oh, okay. How comes mine isn't signed, or is it? Oh,
It's
it is.
on there.
Is
It's
it?
signed.
Johnny White
See that
wrote
big
it. Did
X?
him.
That's you.
Sammy LaMancuso, me the best.
What a guy.
Jimmy Scott, you know, something come to me that I remember that happened to me once at State Line, and I think it was him that hit me head on, that State Line. I don't know how many, I'm coming down the front street, and all at once there's a car in front of me coming at me the other way. I think it was him. I have to ask him. Maybe you don't remember, though. Tom Dill, Laughing Boy, everything was a big joke with him. Paul Wilson, if he wasn't drinking, he was great. Great driver, but when he drank, he kind of spoiled it for himself and for everybody else.
Yeah.
He had a lot of opportunities and blew them. Larry Parmenter, good guy. You know, he started his own track in Wattsburg for a while there. He was one of the guys that hit me in that big wreck in Erie. Bobby Snars, he's the king. He's like Richard Petty. Oh, Komazarski, holy cow. I don't know what to tell you about him. I don't know what to tell you about Mike. I don't know. I don't think I knew him that well. Wasn't he more of a fabricator, or wasn't he? You don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm not going to guess.
Sam, tell
I'm not
about
going to guess.
We haven't asked our other interviewees how you guys got your cars to the track. When we did our rollable film, we heard stories about tractors and chains and stuff like that.
We
But
did.
We haven't asked any of you state line guys about your tow vehicles and how you got them to the track in those days.
Well, when we got the state line, we had tow bars.
Tow
But
bars.
then before that, we always towed with a chain or a rope or whatever. But when we got the state line, we built our own tow bars.
Okay.
Then we got the truck, excuse me, we got a flatbed truck from the garage.
Okay.
Then we had there's in one of the pictures here, we had a pickup like that we used to tow with.
Whoa, that's nice.
But we had tow bars.
Did
They didn't
ever
always
have
tow good, but
Did you ever have a trailer? Did you ever get to a trailer, Sam?
no,
Never did.
no.
Okay.
Did you ever drive a car to a track?
I drove up to one time when they built a new track in Warren, after the one behind the theater closed down, they built one on top of a freaking mountain somewhere, behind the hospital somewhere, I can remember going. We couldn't tow that car up that hill. A lot of the guys couldn't. We had to drive the cars up.
No kidding.
Oh, you said, but once you got up there, what a beautiful view and everything. Did you ever hear
Yeah,
about
I
that or
walked
anything?
around that.
Or you
Was that
have
the
been up
track
there?
that had a pond in the middle of it?
Yes, yes. And if you went off the edge, you were going over the bank or down a mountain. Matter of fact, I think I held a record there for a time trial. I don't recall. Yeah, with one of the Fords. It might have been that 59. I don't remember.
Did you sense, you having driven almost 20 years at State Line, if not more,
Almost.
and did you see the technology? Did you see during that time period where the cars just got a little more sophisticated and the drivers got more sophisticated?
Skip started that.
Yep.
Skip Furlow.
Right?
That's where them cars started to come from.
Uh-huh.
Everybody didn't agree with them, but I guess that was the way to go after. If you wanted to go fast, you buy them special chassis and special parts and good motors, but it cost a lot of money to do that. And we didn't always invest a lot of money in our cars, and everything that we won, we kept and used it just for the car. We never split it among, nobody ever took any money, and everybody worked free. And I'd take them to the banquets at the end of the year and stuff like that, and we always had money to operate with. But that got way over a lot of people's heads, put a lot of people in debt, I think.
Sam, we've talked about a lot of the great drivers from that era. Could you talk about some of the better mechanics from that era of State Line? Some of the guys that you thought were pretty good at spinning the wrenches?
Frosty was Snar's guy. Frank Roman, excellent. He knew how to build a lightweight and go fast. Freddie Ritter, I don't know, I've never heard that name. He was one of Emery Mann's guy before Rudy. My own guy, Pete Casamano, there's others I'm sure that I'm forgetting, but
No, you hit the highlights. That's-
Where does Russ Thompson fit in all of this? Is he an old man?
no, he sold the racing parts,
Ah, okay.
and he was good too. He owned a car for a while, and I think then his kids drive it or something, or
Whitehead drove it.
yeah,
Plyler drove it.
then they done well with it.
And then eventually Tracy drove it.
Yeah, yeah. And he always had good parts because that's what he dealt with, he dealt with parts. And he treated everybody fairly, I always thought, when you wanted to buy a part from Russ. And you can get him at any time, because he lived right there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Marv Thorpe, he was an early owner and then also flagman. He's a little bit of everything.
Marv, nice kid. Yeah, he was the flag man. He drove too. You know, he drove for a while. Then, like you say, he was part owner. Nice to see him quite a bit until he moved away.
Do you have any idea, Sam, why Marv got out of the ownership end of it? And
Do I? No.
Okay.
No. You better ask him that question. I'm sure you'll get a truthful answer. I imagine it was tough. You know, that was, how many guys was that? 4 or 5. You know, that's pretty tough.
And in one of this program here, there's a quote that's attributed to Sam LaMancuso. It says, quote, "I felt like a king in that 1934 Ford. One of his most heartbreaking moments in racing came about a month ago." This was like 1966. When he sold the car and saw it demolished. It's the very first race under new ownership.
Yeah.
What happened?
Tony Cardozi bought it. They owned Stravato's Grill. And I don't know, he just totaled it out the first time he rerun it. I don't know what the heck. I don't know what he did. I don't know. But that was a great car, I'll tell you.
You went on to say, "I had a place in my heart for that old car. I would really like to have given it one more ride."
Yeah. And every time I run it, I would win with it, too.
Yeah.
We used to run high gear with that car. We had a special gear in the back, but I think I got it from Julian, that we used to run high gear with that car. It was so good, I'll tell you. And there was the engine that Pete Casamano built. It was a flathead. Real good.
You mentioned Julian Busick. Was he a part of your world?
In a way, yeah. I was around him for quite a few years. Matter of fact, when he was a Ford dealer, I bought a couple of engines from him and stuff, and we raced around each other a lot. I'd see him at the Living Legends thing every year until he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was around us for a long time.
Lloyd Moore.
Lloyd, I raced with him in Leon at Pennyroyal.
Really?
Yep, and he used to stop and see me a lot because he lived in Frewsburg, and he used to come up Buffalo Street. He'd stop at Casamano's and talk to us. Yeah, and I seen him at night when they had the sportsman thing for him, and that guy knew who he remembered me.
Yeah.
Then I went to the Lakewood Rod and Gun that night, and he remembered my name. I don't know if he remembered what I looked like, but he remembered my name.
I had a chance to interview him a few months before he died, and it was really funny. It was just a funny interview.
He was a big, tough farmer boy there,
Yeah.
He was a man.
and he could drive a race car.
Bill Rexford, did you pass?
Oh yeah, he was with us down there too,
Was he?
at Jamestown Speedway also. Billy was around.
You
And
realize
he was-
how unique this is, that we're interviewing someone that raced against Moore and Rexford?
Yeah.
There's got to be nobody else in the world that can say that. If Sam was
Yeah.
a young man at the time,
Yeah.
you were a kid,
Matter of
actually.
fact, I had to lie my age, I think, when I went to Leon.
Did you?
I think you had to be 18. I think I was 16. I don't remember. Billy Rexford. Another guy had a great future ahead of him. He won the first NASCAR points championship,
Right.
for heaven's sakes. But he was into the alcohol. Kind of ruined him. And he was supposed to come to the last Living Legends race that we were at, the banquet, and he passed away before he could get there.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah. Where did he live? Did he live up here?
Conowongo and down around there, yeah.
Did he race much after? I mean, was there much of a career after the early 50s?
Don't seem like it.
He raced after he split with Julian. He picked up rides in that Mark series.
Yeah,
And
we belonged to
he
that. I
moved
belonged to
out
that for a while,
the
too.
Midwest. He moved out to the Dayton area and picked up rides.
Wherever he could, huh?
He raced up until about 56, and then he moved to Arizona and started a trucking company.
Yep, I did hear
Company, He
that.
had one truck.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was the company.
Yeah,
But now Sam is correct in his assessment of Bill, and,
Yeah.
and Bill would have told you that himself, that
probably. Yeah.
he never met a bottle of beer or a woman
That he didn't like, huh? Oh, boy.
Sam, you're sitting here and you're wondering what's the question I'm waiting for a question. I'm waiting for Greg to come up with a question that he
That I
hasn't
can't
an-
answer.
Well, that I haven't asked yet. What would that be? What would be that kind of highlight moment of Sam LaMancuso that we've missed?
I wish I knew, because when I heard that you guys were going to come and do this, I've been a nervous wreck ever since, wondering what's going to happen here. Am I going to start being over here and going, da? And,
You haven't done that, that's for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
This is unbelievable. Guys? Randy?
No,
No.
I want to show Sam that
Oh, yeah.
film and see if he can help us with the identifications.
You're the best, Sam. This has been,
Yeah.
I can tell
I've
you, this is the
enjoyed this.
best interview. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
really
Yeah,
good.
it is.
I've enjoyed
Yeah,
this. Thank you.
You're sharp.
Thank you.
And we may be here. And when Randy finally gets his film all together, it would be great. It would-
His name.
Who's that?
Ran for NASCAR for a long time. Now I forgot his name. Remember the guy that was going to make the shoes you could walk on the clouds with and everything? You remember what the hell was his name from Asheville? He raced with NASCAR.
Oh, give me a minute.
Gosh darn it.
Chamberlain.
That's him, Ted Chamberlain. Nobody's ever mentioned the poor guy's name. He was one of the first guys at NASCAR.
He raced. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did in
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR. Yes, he
Yeah.
did. Yeah, Ted Chamberlain. You remember? You must remember this guy, Kenny Schroeder. Kenny Schroeder.
Kenny Schroeder owned a bar up in
Yeah.
up at the Beechwood or wherever. They used to call it Schroeder's.
Right.
But I don't think he had anything to do with racing. He monkeyed around with airplanes.
Yeah. Back in the 30s, he had Indy cars. He
Oh,
owned
he did?
Indy cars.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. And he had something to, he might, don't quote me, I believe he might have won the first ever race at Jamestown Speedway in 35.
I have to ask Chick Fashano. That was his father-in-law.
You might
Once-
not want to ask
one-
Dick Buchanan.